So here, here what we are doing is, let's find out the maximum salary in each particular department. Okay. So group by department and find the maximum salary in each department. Okay. So before this, let me show you one more also. It's not a valid one, but still I want to show it because there is something which I want to, which is there here. See, there is a department 10 and there is a department 20. So what is the maximum salary in department 20? 13,000, right? So we should get that particular data now. So department 20, 13,000 is the maximum salary. So using this query, what we are doing here, we are finding out the maximum salary in each particular department. In each particular department, we are just finding out the maximum salary. Okay? Clear? So after that, if you want to find out, let's consider that you are having a condition saying that find out the list of departments where their maximum salary is greater than around 12,000. Okay, so we can just mention having maximum of salary greater than 12,000. So this way we'll get the list of departments and whose maximum salary in that, whose employees and whose maximum salary is greater than 12,000. We can get that. Okay. Yeah. So we can, we can call a function with another function, nothing but a nested functions we can perform. So let's consider that here what we are doing in this example is, first of all, we are grouping the data based on the department ID. Okay. And after that, we got the average salary, and then perform the maximum in that. So without this maximum, let's see what happens here. So for each particular department, it is getting the average data. So in each particular department, it is getting the average data. Okay. And after that, in this particular data, in this total data, if you want to find the maximum one, we can just make maximum like this. We can just make use of maximum function. So the maximum salary is 15,000. So this is all about group functions. So if you practice, then you'll get more. If you get any doubts, you can come back to me. Okay. So the next thing is subqueries. So subquery is nothing but writing a query in another query. That's the concept of subqueries. So in this example, before starting subqueries, let me show you the functionality why we use subqueries. So in this particular employees table, we don't have department name, right? But if you get a requirement saying that display the department name also. So how to, without using joins, we cannot achieve that, right? There is another way for achieving that. Using subqueries, we can achieve that. So here, employee ID is there. Let me write that query now. So now this data is there, but I want to find out the department name also. So using joins, okay, we are aware that using joins we can achieve that, but without using joins, we can write using subqueries we can achieve that, the same stuff. So how to achieve that is simple. First thing is write a query which will display only department name. So in which particular table department name is there, that is in the departments table, right? Okay. So here I will write this query in my select clause with a parenthesis. Okay. In this, I will mention the where condition where d dot department ID is equal to d dot department ID, like this. So now this becomes my department name. Department name. So without joins, I just achieved it. Clear? This is all about subqueries. Simple. Okay, let's go through the slides.
Sridhar, quick question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here you have given the department name, right, after the query, subquery?
Yeah, this alias name.
Yeah, so what if we don't give that alias?
Yeah, nothing will happen. It just says a total function name will be displayed. This total function, the query which you have written, that will be displayed here.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why we just give alias name. Fine.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
So subquery syntax. Yep. Rather than having two or more queries to produce a result, we can solve this by combining the two queries or placing one query inside the other query. That's called inner query or subquery. So in this example here, what we are doing here is like we are having, see here, expression operator. It can be your normal, your is equal to operation, or where you can use in clause, where you can use like clause, anything you can use it. Select list from the table where this particular expression, and in this you can write some clauses here. Okay, the subquery executes once before the main query, and its result is used by the main query. So this is executed before the main query because this expression, this particular where clause is dependent on this query, right? So it cannot execute. It cannot execute without this one. So first this query is executed, and it will send this particular data to this expression, and your where clause, it will filter the data, and then the data is displayed. That's how it goes. Okay. So guidelines for using subqueries: always enclose your subqueries in parentheses. Place subqueries in the right side of the comparison condition. The order by clause in the subquery is not needed unless we are performing top analysis. Anyways, we'll discuss the top end analysis later. Using single row operators with single row subqueries, and use multiple row operators with multi row operators. What do you mean by that? So when you are performing any subqueries, always make sure that how many rows it will return the data, whether it will return a single row data or whether it will return a multi-row data. So based on that, you should use a specific particular clause, nothing but in clause or any clause or exist clause or equal to symbol. So equal to symbol you will use only when it returns only one row. But if you use in clause, if it returns multiple rows, isn't it? So that's why we need to take care of the subqueries. So these are the list of example here. So in this example, what we are doing is we are getting the minimum salary from the employee, and that salary we are passing here, and we are displaying that particular employee information. So let's run this example. And this is done using Squad schema. So first thing is what we have written. We have written a query which is getting the minimum salary, right? This particular simple query is just written in the minimum salary. And this minimum salary, we are passing it to the main query. And here, wherever the salary is equal to 800, that particular employee information is displayed here. Okay. So this way we can make use of subquery in the where clause. So in the before example, we have used the subquery in the select clause.
So here employee table will be retrieved twice, right? Twice.
Yeah, of course, it is executed twice because one is for this purpose. Here we need to execute it once, and after that again we need to execute here once. So it is executed twice.
Okay.
There are sometimes like for achieving the desired functionality, maybe you need to execute it multiple times. So there is no chance. There is no other way to get the data without executing it multiple times. So anyways, one thing is, as a developer, we always try to reduce the number of executions of any table. But there are sometimes we cannot do that, so we need to execute it multiple times.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, here it just says the less than. It is finding out the list of. It is finding out the salaries from all the employees where job ID is called IT programmer, and in the main query, what we are doing is we want to list out all the employee salaries whose salary is less than the salary of IT job programmers.
Mm.
So they just want to find out whose salary is less than the all IT programmer salaries.
This any means it's a
Yeah, any is one of the clause similar to your in clause.
oh,
Nothing but it is saying that. Okay, I'll tell you that. See here, this will return multiple rows, isn't it? Okay, there is no programmer. Oh, 1 minute. So there is no employee with IT programmer here. Mm, clerk. Okay, so we'll take manager. That's better. So now we got 3 rows, right? So what here is saying is that this salary should be less than any of these, at least any of this. It's not it's not that we should compare with all the things which are there here, less than any. We got 3 rows here, right? So
okay.
your salary should be less than at least one of them, nothing but. So these are the employees whose salary is greater than, nothing but, sorry, less than these salaries.
So what's the difference between in
If it
and in?
satisfies one condition, difference between,
In and any.
yeah. Yeah, see, in the in clause, in of course, I mean, in also works in the same fashion.
So
See here, no, 1 minute. In says that the data should be there, right? In says that, like if you consider our example, where did we use that in clause? No, right? Okay. See, what I will do is, yeah, we have this in class, right?
yeah.
No, it's not in. Is equal to stuff.
When you want to include more than one parameter, then we use in.
Yeah, generally we use in when you want to use range data, where department number in, select department number from DPT. Okay. So now what I'm doing here is I'm getting a list of departments from department table.
Yeah.
I want to use that particular department number here, right?
Yeah.
So this way, what we are doing here is the department. First is we'll get the list of departments, okay, and again you will execute this query. You will find out whether this department number is there in this select clause or not. Nothing but is it this present in this particular query or not. Then you will
Uh-huh.
fetch this data like that. Once we execute, we'll get us resultant data, isn't it? Okay, so we
Yeah.
got 5 rows, and after that, this is compared with all the rows here. Whether it is applicable, then it will display that data.
So if we use any over here, I mean instead of in, what would be the result?
Yep. You should have another operator for the any. You cannot use normal directly. Either you should use. I, I don't think it will work in this fashion. So we got 18 rows. Is that correct? How many rows are there in employee? 20 rows. Okay. So how many rows we got?
So we got 2 rows.
18 rows. 2 rows. 2 rows was not there.
So 2 rows might be the null
So
one.
maybe there are two employees who doesn't have department, I guess. That is
So
fine.
any can be used only with the operator, but in can be used without the operator.
Yes, right. Yeah, there are two departments who doesn't have any department number. Right? So that's why we got only 18 rows.
Okay.
So same functionality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the times we use in clause, and exist, yeah, we use it rarely, but most of the times I face, like in clause is the most of the times we use it, because subquery always what we do is, rather than writing complex joins, so we'll just make use of a subquery and it will make our life easy, right? That's why we use subqueries. It depends on the usage also. Without that, we cannot achieve sometimes. So there is another way of writing subquery also. In the from clause also, we can mention the subquery. So in the from clause, if you observe this one here, we have not written any table name here. What I have written is just a select clause and then just mention where row num is equal to 1. So are you aware of row num? Okay,
So
I'll tell
row
you that.
ID.
Row ID is different and row num is different again. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
So row num and row ID. See, row num is the one which displays the row numbers. Nothing but in a sequential order it will return. Row num is not stored, but row ID is stored in the database. Row ID is a unique identifier which identifies each specific row in the database. Okay. So whenever you insert a new row, the row ID is created for it automatically. But row num is a pseudo column. It is executed on the fly. Based on the number of rows, it will automatically return the sequence fashion, serial number. Okay. So coming to this example here. Okay. Let me show you this one. First thing is this particular query is there and we executed this one, and here order by salary is there, right? So the data is displayed based on the salary ascending order. Nothing but the lowest salary is displayed first. Okay. And again we mentioned that this becomes your new table now, new EMP table. This I can call it as my new EMP table. And here what we are doing here is select star from and this particular clause here where row num is equal to 1. Let me display the data without this one first. So we are able to display all the data, nothing but your 20 rows. Okay. If I mention where row num is equal to 1, it will display only one record whose row num is equal to 1. And nothing but we are getting the employee whose salary is minimum. Simple. This way we can achieve the other result also. If you want to find out the employee whose salary is maximum, descending, that's it. We can get an employee whose salary is maximum. Here null value is the one it is considering it as maximum. So what we can do is we can filter that if you don't want that particular salary in consideration, where salary is not null. So now we are getting the employee king whose salary is 5,000. The person who is having maximum salary. Clear? This kind of things we generally use it. This kind of things we generally use it in the top analysis. Nothing but finding out the employee whose salary is maximum or finding out the employee whose salary is minimum. Those kind of things we'll use it. The top analysis. Nothing but if you want to find out the top 5 rows, what we can do is where row number is less than 6. I'll get the list of employees. I get the top 5 employees like this. Are you getting?
Yeah.
Okay. So here using this row num we can achieve the desired functionality. The top end things, the top 5, the top 10 or something like that. Those things we can achieve using this one. See, any and all. The difference is in the all, it should satisfy all the employees' data. Any is it can be any, at least one, nothing but. All means all the data. So null values in subquery, whenever you're using null values, we should make use of NVL so you'll get the desired results. So here we are using not in clause, but here we are getting the manager from employee data, but there are chances that it may lead to some error. It may lead to some incorrect data because this manager may be null, right? So this manager may be null, and this like for an employee, if that particular value is not equal to this null value, so first thing is whenever you're comparing with null, always your query fails. Let's see what this will return. So this is not returning any data. Why? The problem is because of your null value. So if you change the query to this one, So we are getting the data like this. What it is saying here is, first thing is select envelope manager 0 from employee. So what this query is returning for us, it is written all the managers, right? It will return all the managers. And here what I am saying is I want to list out all the employees whose employee number not in this manager list. Okay, nothing but I want to find out the list of employees who are not managers. Find out the list of employees who are not managers. That's what the query function is.
What we are finding out here?
Yeah, we are finding out the list employees who are not managers. So in this particular inner query, what we are doing here is we are just getting all the managers here, right? We are getting all the manager list. So there are some employees who there are some managers. I think, but see here. There are some employees who doesn't have managers, right? Okay. So for those managers, what we are doing here is just using of NVL, we can making them as null. So the remaining these, how many managers are there? Around 16 or something. 16 managers. If you remove the zeros thing, we are 15 managers are there, and we are finding out the employees who are not managers. Nothing but they are normal employees. They are not included as a manager's part. Okay. So there are how many employees? There are 14 persons who are not managers. Okay. So without using this NVL, it was giving this was not returning any data. Because there are chances that this not in clause is compared with NVL, right? Null value. So whenever it is compared with null value, automatically it won't result any data. Directly it won't result any data. That's the problem with null. So whenever you are comparing any data with null, make sure that you use NVL. So using this multiple column, you can we can have a matching with multiple columns also. As of now, we are dealing with in clause with only single column, right? But you can use with multiple columns also. It will become a pairwise comparison. It can be a pairwise or it can be a non-pairwise. But in general, the pairwise comparison will never be used. Most of the times we'll be using only single stuff because pairwise again it leads a complex thing. So, but the thing is, yes, we can use it. If you see this example here, if you want to perform a pairwise comparison, we can make use in this fashion. If you want to go with a non-pairwise comparison, we need to have two in clauses and nothing but we need to have two subqueries. So it depends on our requirement whether we want to go with a pairwise or non-pairwise. Okay.
What is
So
the
pairwise,
pair?
yeah, here pairwise comparison says that, see here, okay, let me execute this better, show that. Here what you're doing here is, select this inner query is returning one particular row where employee number is that one, okay. And here we are passing this particular pair information to the top level information, nothing but this manager is compared with this manager and this department number is compared with this department number. Clear?
Yeah.
So that way, in this now as of we'll get this particular data here. So we are displaying all the employees whose manager and department number are same. We are displaying employees whose manager and department number both are same. So at a time we are comparing rather than having multiple queries, we are just having a single in clause, and with the pairwise comparison we can achieve this particular functionality. Without that, it will become again complex. So here for all the employees, the manager and department number are same. So coming to other one, it's quite different. So we have written two inner queries for achieving the same result, same functionality. Same thing. We are getting the same data, but we have written two inner clauses. So it depends for which one to use it. Okay. So there are chances that we may use the case expression also in the inner query stuff. Here, if you consider this example here, what we're doing here is like in the in the select clause. In the select clause itself, we have written an inner query. The first one which we have written, the select clause itself, like we have written inner query with a case statement here. The only thing is we have written a case statement, and if it is returning some, if it is returning that department name is for Hyderabad, we are displaying some information, else we are displaying it as some foreign, like that. Okay, so there are sometimes, these clauses may cause you an error, so make sure that you replace with this normal other codes. Yeah. So here, there is no department with the Hyderabad location. So what we'll do is, let me do some other stuff now. Okay, Dallas. Okay, I'll say that where location is called Dallas, display as DLS. Okay, else foreign. It's here, but what we are doing here is we have written in the query, select department number from department. Okay, so and we are comparing. I'm getting the department number. Okay, for the given for a location Dallas, I'm getting the department number, and if the department number from this particular table is equivalent to this department number, then we'll display that as DLS. Else we'll display it as foreign. Nothing but we are displaying the location name here. For getting the location, we have written this way. Let me frame this fashion. Easy. Yeah, this makes sense now. Yeah. So any doubts in this one? See here, simple, right? There is something missing, I guess.
Select.
Yeah, this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So here, first thing is we are getting the department number of Dallas department, and if the department number of this employees table is equivalent to this one, then we'll display DLS, else we'll display foreign. That is what we are doing here. Yeah, these things we have just now used it, right? Correlated subquery. A query is called correlated subquery when it references a column from a table referred to the parent table. So here the employee, here the employee department number we are using in the inner query also. So this becomes a query related subquery. This is used generally for performing the row by row processing. This takes a lot of time. This what you say, I can say the performance wise it will hit. If you're comparing this way, there are chances it may hit performance. Even in our first example also, for displaying the department name, we are using that one, right? We are passing the department number and we are getting the department name, isn't it? It is executed once for each and every row. Yeah, exists operator will just say that whether the inner query is having some data, then it will perform the outer query stuff, else it won't execute. It tests for the existence of rows in the result set of the subquery. It returns true if the subquery returns at least one row, else nothing is written. It's similar to your in operator. Okay. The only thing, what I'm trying to say is, like we are having a different operators, nothing but in clause, in operator, exist operator, all operator, any operator. So using these things, we can make use of your subqueries. So based on your operator, nothing but see, first is equal to any exist in, all. These are the things which we generally come across. Most of the time, in and is equal to are the mostly used stuff, and the remaining things, we always try to avoid it because it'll make the people more confusion. So that's why we always use either in clause or is equal to clause most of the times. Okay.
Can you tell once again that exist operator?
Yeah, sure.
I missed some.
Yeah, sure. So here, what we're doing here is we are just getting the data. Here, what we are passing some employee number inside this table, right? So this will return 1 only when that particular manager number is equal to the above employee number. Okay, so it will return 1. So whenever it returns in a single row, so what happens is that that particular row becomes true. Then only your exist will return the data. Else it won't return any data.
Okay.
See what is saying here. In operator can replace exist operator. Select employee number here. Where this is employee number in we are mentioning, right? We are getting all the here inside this one. Okay, let me execute this one first, and then you'll understand more. See here, first is we have written a query which is fetching out all the managers. Okay, they're fetching out all the managers here, right? And after that, we mentioned the in clause. We're finding out all the manager information here, where employee number in this one. So we are comparing employee number with the manager number. Nothing but we want to find out the manager's information here, right? So how many managers are there? We are having around 6 managers here. Okay.
Yeah.
And here, what I'm doing here is I'm passing the employee information to inner query, and I'm using here exist clause. So using exist clause, what is the thing is it will just check for the valid condition, for the true or false stuff. Okay, so here we are passing the manager information to the inside inner query here, and this will return 1 or none based on the validity of the manager information. Okay, so let me pass this one here. See here, I'll pass 7902 here, not 792. What is the manager of this one? Yeah, 7566 is the manager, right? So I'm passing, yeah, 7902 is correct only, sorry. 79202, if it returns how many? It returns only 1 row. So it says that there are 3 employees with the manager 7902, nothing but it executed once, right? So what happens? Exist operator becomes true, and it will return that particular employee whose value becomes true. See here, okay, what I will do is, yeah, okay, yeah, now I should return this particular row. So what I'm doing here is I'm passing employee number. Before, what we are doing here, we are passing this employee number, right? We are passing employee number in the exist operator, right? We are passing e.employee number inside query. So instead of passing it, I just hard coded it. This is called hard coding. I've hard coded it here. And at the same time, I'm filtering the data of only that particular employee here. Okay. So now we are getting that particular only record because here this exist operator is returning me 1 record, isn't it? It is returning me. I mean, it's nothing but it's returning multiple records, but it's nothing but true condition for me. Or else, I'll make sure that the inner query returns no rows. Then see what happens. Sorry, 1 is equal to 0. So this will return false. It should not return any data now, because this particular query is always false for me. No data, right? So for exist operator to work, the inner query which we have written, that should return at least 1 row. Okay. Here there is no comparison is done. It just says that whether that inner query return a data or not. Anyway, we are already comparing that particular employee number here, right, inside. So that's why we have just written 1 here. We have not written any column name here. So we are just verifying the validity. If your inner query returns a row, then only the main query will return the data. So that's how it works. Got idea or still confusion? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll wind up for today. So the next session will be on again your Monday morning, I guess. No, Monday evening. Yeah, your Monday evening and my Tuesday morning. Okay. So if you get any doubts, you can mail me. I will reply surely. Okay.
Yes, sure.
Okay. Chalo, yeah. Bye.